Hi students, let's continue with the animal kingdom and we're discussing about the phylum Chordata. In the earlier video we had discussed about the Pisces and now we'll take about the superclass Tetrapoda. In the description box you can find the Telegram channel link where you can find the daily practice papers. So without delay, let's start the superclass Tetrapoda. The Tetrapoda contains 4 classes, that is Amphibia, Reptilia, Apes, and Mammalia. So in this series, we'll discuss about these 4 classes. Let's start with the first class, that is Amphibia. Class Amphibia. The word Amphibia has 2 words, amphi and bio. Amphi means dual, that is both, and bio is the life. Now what does it mean? Amphibians are the organisms which can live both in water, that is aquatic, as well as on land, that is terrestrial. So they have 2 modes of life. A part of life can be aquatic and a part of life can be terrestrial. But remember, for the reproduction, they had to come back to the aquatic or the water. So these organisms are called as the amphibians. The common type of animals in amphibians are frogs, toads, salamanders. So the common animals are frogs, toads, and salamanders. As amphibian belongs to Tetrapoda, they have tetra. Poda means they have 4 legs. So these are 4-legged animals, or we can say they have 2 pairs of limbs. In the case of frogs and toads, the limbs are unequal, whereas in salamanders they have equal pair limbs. There is another example in the amphibia called as ichthyophis. And ichthyophis are limbless amphibians. So let's see the basic characteristics. So we have seen that the class amphibia means they can survive both in water, aquatic, as well as land, terrestrial. Thus the name called as amphibia or dual life. As tetrapods, they have 2 pairs of limbs. Limbs can be unequal or limbs can be equal. In ichthyophis, limbs are absent. The common animals we have seen are frogs, toads, salamander, and we have limbless amphibians called as ichthyophis. Let's see the basic characteristics now. As you can see in the diagrams, the body is divided into 2 parts, head and trunk. Neck is still absent like fishes. However, limbs can be present and limbs are absent in the limbless amphibians. Coming to the structure, the skin does not has any scales. So scales are absent. So skin is generally smooth and kept moist so that the skin can also help in the respiration process. Coming to the system, the digestive system, it has an alimentary canal starting from mouth ending with anus. The anus part along with the urinary tracts, along with the reproductive ducts, they open into a common opening called as cloaca. So these animals have a single cloacal opening in which the digestive system, the excretory system, and the reproductive system, the 3 systems will open. Coming to the respiration part, respiration is done through the lungs as they are terrestrial. Gills are still present in the larval form and some of the adults. And the third structure which helps in respiration is the skin. The moist skin also help in the exchange of the gases. So we can say that lungs help in pulmonary respiration, gills help in brachial respiration, and skin will help in cutaneous respiration. The circulation part, they have a 3-chambered heart. In the 3 chambers, the 2 are atria. The right atrium and the left atrium are separated, but they have a single ventricle. So the blood is separated in the atria, but the ventricle will pump the mixed blood. So a three-chambered heart with two atria and one ventricle is present. Amphibians are cold-blooded animals, that is, they are poikilotherms. They cannot maintain constant body temperature. Coming to the reproduction, as usual, the sexes are separate, that is, they are unisexuals, but the fertilization is external in the water. So for the reproduction, they have to go back to the water. These animals have a larva in the life history, so the development is indirect development. So these are the basic characteristics of amphibia. Let's see the main points. Class Amphibia. The body has two parts, head and trunk. Neck is absent. Limbs may be present, like in frogs, toads, and salamanders. And in Ichthyophis, the limbs are absent. The skin is not covered by any scale, so skin is smooth and moist, which also help in respiration. So alimentary canal starts with mouth, ends with anus. The digestive system, excretory system, and reproductive system, they open into a common opening called as cloaca, and this cloaca will open to the exterior. Respiration is done through the lungs. The larva and some others still have gills, and skin mainly also help in the respiration process. A three-chambered heart helps in the circulation. Two atria and one ventricle are seen. Reproduction, animals have separate sexes. For fertilization, they need water, that is external. Larva in the life history is called as indirect development. Let's see the examples. The common examples are Bufo. Bufo is called as toad. Rana. Rana is called as the frog. Hyla is called as the tree frog. Salamandra is called as the salamander. And as I told, Ichthyophis is called as the limbless amphibians. So these are the common examples. The common examples are Bufo, Rana, Hyla, the tree frog, salamander or salamandra, and the limbless one called as the Ichthyophis. So we have seen the details of the class Amphibia. So we had to add two main characteristics here. The first time we can see the animals are coming on the land, that is terrestrial. So in the amphibians, the eyes have the eyelids. That is, the eyelids are present, which can protect the eyes when they come on the land from the dust. And the second is, because they have come on the land, now the sounds are present. So this is called as tympanum, the eardrum. So eardrum help in receiving the sounds. Behind the eyes, you can see the eardrum is present, which help in hearing the sounds. So from here, the middle ear part has started. So don't forget to add these two important characteristics, that is, first time the presence of eyelids, and first time we can see the middle ear has started, called as the eardrum or the tympanum. So in that class Amphibia, so remember these two are the special sensory structures which are developed for the first time. Let's continue for the next class, that is the class Reptilia. Let's discuss about the class Reptilia. The word Reptilia comes from the Latin word called as repere or reptum. Now this word repere or reptum means creeping or crawling. That is, the class Reptilia includes those animals which are generally the creeping or crawling forms. So class Reptilia includes the animals which generally creep or crawl. The most common examples in this are the turtles. The turtles are the marine forms. The tortoises, I think you're familiar with these type of animals. Then we have crocodiles. Similar to crocodiles are the alligators and the gharials. We have different types of snakes and lizards. So these type of animals belong to class Reptilia. So you can see all the animals, generally they are creeping or crawling form. Even though have the legs, like the crocodiles, the tortoises, the turtles, they have the legs, and the lizards also. But still they prefer the creeping form, right? So these are tetrapods where limbs are present except for the snakes. So even though limbs are present, these animals prefer to creep or crawl. Thus the name called as the reptilia. All the reptiles are cold-blooded animals, that is, they are poikilotherms. They cannot maintain constant body temperature. These are basically terrestrial forms, so they can spend the whole life on the land. However, a few animals are aquatic in nature. But remember, for the reproduction, they have to come on the land. If you remember in the amphibia, the reproduction occurs only in water, whereas reptiles they have to reproduce on land. Even the marine turtles they come on the land to lay the eggs. So let's see the body of these animals. So these are the turtles, a lizard, a snake, and the crocodile. So when you see the body of these animals, you can see most of them have the limbs, whereas in the case of snakes, the limbs are absent. What else? The body in these animals is covered by scales. In the case of crocodiles, you can see larger scutes, plate-like structures. Scutes are present. And in the case of the turtles or the tortoises, you can see they form a complete shell-like structure. The whole body is covered by dry cornified skin. So skin is dried. And this dry cornified skin is generally having scales or scutes. So as the body is covered by the dry skin, they can easily survive in the terrestrial environment. So this makes them easy to survive in these type of harsh conditions. So let's quickly see the other systems. So digestive system is as usual similar. Coming to respiration, these animals have complete lungs for respiration. So complete respiration is pulmonary. However, an extra point is in the case of marine turtles, the cloaca may also help in respiration process. So basically they have the pulmonary or respiration through the lungs. Coming to circulation, same as amphibians, they have a three-chambered heart with two atria and a single ventricle. However, the exception is crocodiles. Crocodiles have a complete four-chambered heart. Coming to the sensory structures, the tympanum or the middle ear is present same as amphibians. So there is no external ear in the case of the reptiles. As seen earlier, the body is covered by a dry cornified skin which is either scaly or have the scutes. In the case of lizards and the snakes, these scales are shed off periodically. And this process is called as the skin casting. So the lizards and the snakes, they cast their skin. This is how the body grows. Coming to reproduction, as usual, the sexes are separate. As they are terrestrial, they have internal fertilization. Most of these animals are oviparous, that is egg-laying, whereas some of the snakes are viviparous, which directly give birth to the young ones. Development is direct as no larval form is present here. So let's quickly see the examples. As in the diagrams, you can see the common animals are chelone. Chelone is a marine turtle. Testudo. Testudo is the terrestrial form called as the tortoise. Chameleon. Chameleon is the tree lizard. As you know, the chameleon has a capacity to camouflage, change its color. Calotis is a garden lizard. Crocodylus is a crocodile and it is the largest reptile in the present world. Earlier they were dinosaurs, now the largest reptiles are the crocodiles. Similar to crocodiles, we have one more type of animals called as the alligators. The wall lizard, what we daily see, is called as Hemidactylus. It is the wall lizard. Many snakes are there. As you know, the cobra is called as Naja, that is the Indian cobra. And the poisonous snake is Bungarus, called as the krait. Similarly, we have viper. And we also have the non-poisonous snake, but which can swallow the animals, called as the python. So let's quickly revise the class Reptilia. The class Reptilia, the word comes from the Latin term called as the rapere or reptum, which means to creep or to crawl. The common type of animals are like the turtles, tortoises, crocodiles, snakes, lizards, and other animals. Limbs are present except for the snakes. The reptiles have a dry cornified skin, and this skin is covered by scales or the larger plates called as the scutes. So animals like lizards and the snakes have to shed off these scales periodically, that is, they go for the skin casting. Reptiles are cold-blooded, and these are basically terrestrial in nature. They can survive the whole life on the land. If you can move to the water, aquatic, but reproduction occurs only on the land. Coming to the characteristics, respiration is basically by the lungs called as the pulmonary respiration. One pair of lungs are present. Circulation by a three-chambered heart. Exception is crocodile, and crocodile have four chambers in the heart. Sensory structures like in amphibian, tympanum is present. External ear is not seen here. Other characters are similar. Coming to the reproduction is sexual reproduction with the sexes separate. Fertilization completely internal. Most of them are oviparous in nature. No larval form, so called as directed development. So coming to common examples, the turtle, Chilone, tortoise, Testudo, chameleon is called as the tree lizard, calotis is called as the garden lizard. The largest reptile, Crocodylus, similar animal are alligators. The lizard what we daily seen in our houses is the wall lizard, Hemidactylus. The snakes are poisonous snakes like Naja. Bungarus is called as the krait, viper, and the non-poisonous snake but dangerous snake is called as the python. So these are the common type of the examples. This is about class Reptilia. Let's move to class Aves. Let's move with the next class, that is class Aves. Now what do you mean by aves? Aves are commonly called as birds. Remember the birds? Crow, pigeon, different type of birds we see in the life, isn't it? Okay. All the birds are warm-blooded, or we can call them as homeotherms. As the birds belong to Tetrapoda, they have two pairs of limbs. So we call them as tetrapods. But how are these modified? The forelimbs are modified into wings which help in flying, and the hind limbs remain as the legs. So as they have two pairs of limbs, they also belong to Tetrapoda. However, the special property in the case of the birds is the presence of the wings. So as wings are present, the birds can fly. Like we see the daily birds like crow, eagle, pigeon and all. And we also have some flightless birds. Birds like ostrich and emu are the flightless birds. So wings on the body will help in the flight process. And these wings are covered by feathers. So one more unique property in the birds is the presence of the feathers. In the birds, the whole skin is covered by a dry skin, there are no glands in the skin except for a single gland, and this gland is called as the oil gland or the preen gland. The oil gland or the preen gland is present at the base of the tail. So this is the only gland present. Otherwise, the skin is dry without any glands. So let's see the structure of a bird. As you know, the bird has the head. A long neck is present, a trunk region, and a tail region. The trunk is supported by a pair of wings, that is the forelimb, and the hind limb forms the legs. The whole body of the birds is covered by feathers. However, in the leg region, you can still find the scales. So skin also have the scales present in the leg region. The head has the beak portion, and this beak will help in the collection of the food. So the basic parts in the body of the bird are the head region, the neck region, the trunk part, and as usual, the tail region. The legs of the bird are generally used for different purposes like walking. When I say walking, we can say they also help in running. In the aquatic forms like the ducks and all, it also helps in swimming. It is also used for holding the tree branches called as the clasping. So legs will help in the walking, running, swimming and clasping, and the wings will help in the flying process in the flying birds. Whereas in the flightless birds, the wings are generally reduced. If you observe, even though the birds have a large body, they appear to be very light because the whole endoskeleton of the birds is made up of bony called as ossified, but these bones have air cavities or the air spaces. That is, the bones are hollow from inside. These type of bones are called as pneumatic bones. As the bones are pneumatic, the bird's body feel very lighter. So this will help in the flying process. Let's quickly see the other structures now. So coming to the systems, let's discuss about the digestive system. Two additional structures are seen in the digestive system, that is the crop and the gizzard. The crop will help in temporary storage of the food, and as they don't have teeth, they don't chew. So the major grinding process will occur in the gizzard portion. In case of respiration, the lungs are supported by additional structures called as air sacs. There are 9 air sacs in the birds which also help to supplement the respiration process. The circulation is done by heart, and now the heart is 4-chambered. The complete division of atria and ventricles can be seen. So there are 2 atria and there are 2 ventricles in the heart. This will help in complete double circulation process. Coming to reproduction, as usual, sexes are separate. So these are unisexuals. Fertilization is completely internal as they are terrestrial forms, and these animals are completely oviparous. All the birds are egg-laying without any exception. Development is direct. So these are the basic characteristics of class Apes. Let's quickly revise them. Class Apes of birds. These are tetrapods with 2 pairs of limbs, where the forelimbs are modified into wings and the hind limbs are called as the legs. All are warm-blooded or homeotherms which can maintain constant body temperature. When we say bird, the first thing which comes to our mind is they can fly. Most of the birds can fly, but birds like ostriches and emus are the flightless birds. In the flightless bird, the wings are reduced. The whole body is covered by the feathers, including the wings. In the case of the birds, the skin is dry. There are no glands in the skin except for one gland at the base of the tail, called as the preen gland or the oil gland. Besides this, even the legs are also covered by the scales. The body shows basically four regions: the head, the neck, the trunk, and the tail. A beak is present in the case of the birds. Whole body is covered by feathers, whereas the legs are covered by the scales. Coming to the systems, the digestive system has two additional structures, the crop and the gizzard. Respiration is by lungs. The lungs are now supported by air 9 sacs. These air sacs also help to make the bones pneumatic in nature. Circulation, closed circulation with a four-chambered heart, two atria and two ventricles. A special property is pneumatic bones in the case of the birds. The endoskeleton is ossified, but it has the air cavities. Function of the legs, as we have seen: walking, running, swimming, and even holding the branches of the tree, called as clasping. Reproduction as usual. Sexual, unisexual animals are present here. Complete internal fertilization and all are egg layers, called as oviparous. Development is direct. So these are the basic characteristics we find in the case of the aves or the birds. So follow your NCERT book for the details of the examples. I am referring a few here. These are corvus. Corvus is called as crow. Columba. It is not Columbia, it is columba. Columba is pigeon. Psittacula. Psittacula is the parrot. Struthio camelus. Struthio is the ostrich, the African ostrich. It is the largest bird. It is the largest bird in the world. Pavo. Pavo cristatus is the peacock, and peacock is the national bird of India. Atenoditis. Atenoditis is called as the penguin. I think you know penguins are present in the South Antarctical region, and these are the birds. Neophron. Neophron is the vulture. Like this, the common examples are corvus, the crow; columba, pigeon; psittacula is parrot; the flightless bird is struthio, the ostrich; peacock is called as pavo; penguin is called as Atenoditis, and the vulture is called as the neophron. So this is about class aves or birds. Let's continue with class Mammalia. Hi students, let's move on to the last class of the phylum Chordata as well as the subphylum Vertebrata, or I can say the last class of kingdom Animalia, and this class is class Mammalia. Now what do you mean by class Mammalia? The word Mammalia comes from the presence of the milk producing glands called as the mammary glands. So these animals have a unique character of producing the milk to nourish the young ones. Thus the name called as the Mammalia. All the mammals are homeotherms, that is, warm-blooded animals. We can maintain constant body temperature. When we say mammals, you can get different type of animals as examples. We start with the humans. Humans are mammals. Our close friends are monkeys. In the day-to-day life, we see dog, cats, lions, tigers, elephants, whales, bats. What else? We can find the polar bears. We can see the camels. So all these are the mammals, the examples of mammals. So where do you find them? You find them in the variety of habitats. So mammals are seen in different places like the coldest region of the polar, which contains the polar bears. In the deserts, you can find different type of animals like the camels. You can find some of the animals on the mountains, including the mountain deers and the tigers. We also find the animals in the dense forest region, We can find them in the grassland. We can find them in the dark caves like the bats. We can find them in the deep waters like the whales and the seals. The different type of animals are found in different type of habitats. So where do you find them? You can find them in the water. So animals are aquatic like whales and the other animals. Animals are terrestrial, which can live on the land. Some are the burrowing forms, and we can also see the animals which can fly. So mammals or the class Mammalia consist of different type of organisms. Now, if you remember, it also belongs to Tetrapoda, that is, the two pairs of limbs are present. So as we have hands and legs, all the mammals have two pairs of limbs but differently modified. In some it is modified for walking, running. In some it is modified for the swimming. In the case of the monkeys and other, it is modified into climbing and so on. Coming to unique character of the class Mammalia, remember, the presence of hair is one of the unique characters. So we have seen presence of mammary gland, the milk producing glands, and the second is presence of the hair. These are the special characters seen in the class Mammalia. So let's quickly see the different type of the systems. Coming to digestive system. We have thecodont teeth. So what is thecodont teeth? Our teeth are present in the jawbone. So we have the teeth in the sockets of the jaw called as the thecodont teeth. The salivary glands is one more special character present in the mammals. And the character in the digestive system is the presence of palate. Now what is this palate? So as you know, we have the respiration part and the digestion part. The respiration starts with the nose, which has a nasal chamber, and from the mouth we have the buccal cavity. In between the nasal chamber and the buccal cavity, this plate-like structure is called as palate, which will help in both respiration and the chewing process to continue together. So mammals can both chew and respire at the same time because of the structure called as the palate. So one more special property in the case of mammals is the presence of palates. So moving to the respiratory system, respiration is completely by lungs. So normal lungs are present in the case of the mammals. So what about circulation? Of course, we have a four-chambered heart, that is two atria and two ventricles. So the oxy and the deoxy blood always is separated. So our heart has four chambers, that is two atria and the two ventricles. This will help in complete double circulation. And the special property in the mammals is the external ear. So our ear starts with the external pinna, then you have a canal called as the auditory meatus, and then we have the eardrum. Besides this, we also have three bones in the ear called as the malleus, incus and stapes, and the coiled structure called as cochlea. So presence of external ear, presence of cochlea, so these are the special properties seen in the mammals. And we also have three ear ossicles. No details we'll discuss in the musculoskeletal system, right? So remember, one more property is the presence of external ear called as the pinna. Coming to reproduction, as usual, animals are unisexual, sexes are separate. Internal fertilization is seen as usual. Development is direct. No larval form is present. Mammals are basically viviparous, give birth to the young ones. We have exception of a few animals laying the eggs. That is, the egg-laying mammals are present, meaning all the mammals are viviparous in nature. This is about the class Mammalia. Let's quickly revise it. Class Mammalia, the word comes because of the milk-producing glands or the mammary glands. All are homeotherm, we can maintain constant body temperature. As the animals are humans, monkeys, dogs, cats, whales, tigers, lions, we can see them in a variety of habitats, starting from the coldest part like the polar regions to the hottest regions like deserts. We can find them on mountains, forests, caves, inside the deep waters, etc. Animals are aquatic as well as terrestrial. Some can burrow and some can even fly. We call them as tetrapoda as two pairs of limbs are present. The use of the limbs can be walking, swimming, burrowing, climbing, and so on. The special properties are presence of mammary glands. Unique character is presence of hair. The digestive system in these animals has thecodont teeth in the sockets, in the jaw. Salivary glands are present and separation between the nasal and the oral chamber called as a palate. Respiration by lungs. Completely divided four-chambered heart help in the circulation. In the ear, external ear pinna is seen in the case of mammals. Reproduction as usual, unisexual, internal fertilization, development is direct. Except for the egg-laying mammals, all the remaining mammals are oviparous, directly give birth to the young ones. So these are the properties of mammals. Let's see the long list of the examples from your NCERT book. So you start with the egg-laying mammals called as Ornithorhynchus. The common name is duck-billed platypus. Kangaroo. Kangaroos have a pouch for the development called as macropus. So kangaroos are called as macropus. We can find them in Australia. Pteropus is called as the flying fox. It is like a bat. It can fly. The common animal called as camel, also called as camelus. Your favorite friend is monkey, the macaca. Rat is called as rattus. Dog is called as canis. Cat is called as felis. Elephant is called as elephas. Horse is called as equus. Delphinus is the dolphin. And Belloptera is the blue whale. It is the largest mammal as well as the animal in the world. Panthera is the tiger. If you're saying Panthera tigris, Panthera leo is the lion. These are the common examples of mammals. The platypus is called as Ornithorhynchus. The kangaroo is called as Macropus. Pteropus is the flying fox. Camel, Camelus. Monkey, Macaca. Rat is Rattus. Dog is Canis. Cat is called as Felis. Elephas is the elephant. Horse is called as Equus. Delphinus is dolphin. Belloptera, blue whale, the largest animal. And Panthera is the category. Panthera tigris is called as tiger. And Panthera leo is called as the lion. So this is about the total classification of vertebrata as well as the end of the animal kingdom chapter. So hope you have followed all the videos for the detailed discussion. Also subscribe the Telegram channel so that you can get the daily practice bits based upon these topics. In the next series, I'm going to start with the structure organization. So keep following the channel.